again, learning to see by the light of our dreams, kissing the darkest night with laughter. We'll find a way. Simple faith is still worth keeping, no matter what they say. So stay right beside me forever now, come what may. We will still believe in love, even when we fail. We will still be holding on. When days grow dark with fear, we will find a way. When sorrows touch us here, we will find a way to dry our every tear. We will find a way.
Hello everyone, I'm going to let you listen to this cool synth solo by Kamal Kenyatta. We will find a way, we'll find a way, from my album, Good Woman. This should be a theme song for us. Nothing can happen to me today that we don't overcome, right? So enjoy the music, share, and I'll be back to tell you my thought for the day.
Hand in hand, we explore a vast new land, where mountain wings rise to meet the sun. Day by day, climbing higher on our way, we'll touch the sky together when we're done. And there we will stand on the rock of our love, blessed with a sure and ever after. We'll find a way, find a way. We will find a way. We'll stand and view the land of our dreams. We will find a way. Together you and I will find a way. We will find a way.
Do you get annoyed when broadcasters sit and bip to their own music, like they don't care about you? I know it's this weird, like, now even Larry has a cool countdown into his program. Super epic. Just not that cool, but I do have a lot of great music I want to share with you guys. And you know, since I started doing that, thank you, Rebecca. Since I started sharing the music, you guys have become jazz enjoyers, and you've opened up to new sounds, and you've supported my work and the work of other musicians. So I think it's kind of a win-win. Hello everyone. And I should play that more as a theme song for the when I talk to you about how there's nothing that can happen to you and me today that we don't overcome, that doesn't ultimately wind up for our benefit. Now, I want to talk to you about prepositions and use of grammar. It is a thing. And in this song, you'll notice you and I set against a threatening sky, thunder songs gather in the wind. That is grammatically correct, because you can be set against a threatening sky and I can be set against a threatening sky. So you and I are, or I am, right? But if I said you and me set against a threatening sky, that would actually be incorrect. So be careful when you're talking to people about your you and I's and your you and me's. You and I is used when you can make an I am statement out of the group. So if I said, you and I are overcomers, that's correct because you can be an overcomer, you are, and I am. So you use you and I are when both of you can be the subject of you are and I am. You and I are this, or you and I do this, right? You and me is different. You say with you and me. That's object of a preposition. So when you say going with you, you wouldn't say going with you and I, because you would never say going with I. You would say going with you, going with me. And you know when to use with me or with or I, you and I, or you and me, depending on if you can break them apart and it makes sense. So you can say you and me when the sentence can be said, you go, I go with you, and you go with me. If the with works for both of them, you're clear. But you would never say go, you can't mix it up and say with I, right? Go with you and I, because you could never say go with you and go with I. Think about it. So this song is interesting because I use both, but you know how I get away with it? Because in the second verse, I add a comma. You and I, set against the threatening sky, thunder songs, gather in the wind. Now in verse 2, I needed a rhyme that rhymed with E. So I said, you and me, sailing on an angry sea. Normally that would be incorrect. You sail on an angry sea and I sail on an angry sea. But you know how I got around it? In the lyrics, there's a comma. You and me. Set it off. So you got to be careful. Just saying. I heard an awesome sermon yesterday, and the guy was all about you and I in all the wrong places. There were so many times he needed to say you and me or with me. So careful. Just a thing. All right. You and I are embarking. So why don't you come with me? You and me together. Okay. So little thought, lots going on in my world. And I noticed a habit that I have that fear-free liver lovers shouldn't have. And that is the compulsive habit of scanning the environment to see if we're safe. I have an old standing habit of waking up and having some old memories and old wiring wherein before I'm happy, I kind of need to check to make sure nothing's gone wrong and nobody's mad. Raise your hearts if you know what I'm talking about. In the quest for fear-free living, that's all about learning a different way to do things. And by the way, I'm working on t-shirts. I have more questions than I have answers. But as another aside, my first t-shirt's going to say, fear cannot live here, can't live here. And on the back, it's going to say, I learned to be afraid, or you learn to be afraid, you can learn to be free. Isn't that awesome? We need that, especially in the wake of COVID. And then my second shirt's going to say fear-free living, not an option. And on the back, it's going to say go do something that scares you. Ooh. Anyway, I'm going to work and learn the process so I can figure out how to sell you shirts. And you're going to want these shirts, right? And so we're all about learning, doing things on purpose to learn the life skill of fear-free living. And I notice that as I get freer and freer and healeder, that the issues become subtle, but they're still very important. So I have a bad habit or an old wiring that before I wake up happy, I mean just totally at peace, I have an old pattern of going through anything that could be wrong just to check it, just to make sure I have permission to be happy. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Right? And so I have this old check the perimeter and make sure we're safe behavior. It's very, very subtle because I usually wake up pretty much on the sunny side of the street and it doesn't take me too long, but it's still in there and it steals my joy in a very subtle way. And I realized as I took it to the Lord with my coffee, because there is a lot going on. I want you to know I am in an enormous risk cycle right now. I am doing some very risky, I'm doing things communally that as a group take us into some great places of victory that involve risk. So I was assessing all that. And as I was having a quiet time today before talking to you, I realized that I was checking the perimeter to see if I had permission to be okay. That's that old, I can't be okay if unless my circumstances tell me I'm okay, right? I have to make sure nobody's mad at me. The bills are paid. The dog's been fed. The bad people aren't taking over the earth. It used to be I had a very long series of rituals, and I was in several prayer groups. And I realized the reason why I got into these morning prayer groups is because I woke up afraid every day. I woke up anxious. And so I went into my prayer group and worked really hard through all my praying just to be able to kind of have the rest of the day be okay. And when I realized that I lived with low-grade anxiety, one of the things that helped me with that is homeopathy. There's a homeopathic remedy. And now, of course, I need to be able to share that with you. That is for anxiety. And I called my homeopath one day and I said, now that I'm so much healthier, hey, Uncle Larry, now that I'm so much healthier, I am noticing that and I've got a lot of big stuff healed, I'm noticing that I live with a low-grade anxiety. And I said, what can you do to help me with that? And that was along the stream of me continuing to deal with things and learn. And she said, Julie, that's really not normal. She said, I find that happens to my clients who I've treated, and they've worked through a lot of physical imbalances. Homeopaths work to balance you physically and emotionally. And I believe in a multi-pronged approach. So whenever I'm doing something to get better, to get well, to get healeder and healeder, I will usually employ a multifaceted set of things at the same time. So she had treated me for some deeper pain still hidden on my body. So there is that. If you get a good homeopath and they do constitutional remedies, they can go into the deepest memories of your cells on a chemical level and help you with that. And a really experienced homeopath. So I noticed big change when I did that. And then I noticed there was these things I just didn't want to tolerate anymore. When you get really, when God gets the screaming memes out of your head, you start to hear the quieter negative voices and you go, well, why should I put up with that? I got rid of the screaming memes, but now this other stuff, why do I need to live with that? I'm so much better. You just get to the point where you just want to get better and better and you don't want to put up with any of it. So aconitum, that's the remedy, aconitum, aconitum, remedy for anxiety. So she treated me with aconitum and it really helped. And it's for those just low grade things. It's like a bee, or a fly or a gnat or a mosquito. You just want to, and your body needs to be released from old patterns. So in addition to the brain, homeopathy's been really helpful for me. But I noticed that it's way better, but I'm still checking to see if I have somebody else out there's permission to be okay, just a little bit in the morning. And I took it to the Lord and I said, let's loose this from my soul. Do the cat purr. I loose that from my soul and I bind to my soul security. And then I began to say, I am safe. I am righteous. I am in victory. I am seated in the heavenly realms. I am already okay. I already have permission to be okay and safe. I'm already there. I'm already okay. I don't need anyone else's to change my environment for me to be okay. So I began to speak that out and confess that spiritually and also over my brain. And I realized that just how backwards that is. The idea that I can't be safe, I can't be happy, I can't be at peace unless my circumstances look like this. So therefore, I check every day to see who could be mad or what the expectation is. And this is, people pleasers do that. They get up every morning and check to see who might be mad, who might be upset, who's expecting a phone call, who you didn't do such and such for, and you better do it right now just to make, and it's this people pleasing sort of neurotic behavior. And it's important to keep track of that, because it's based on a lie. It's like, I only get permission to be okay and have a good day as long as I've checked the boxes of all the things that could go wrong, right? And so, as opposed to, I'm okay so I can look at my circumstances. You see the difference? I can look at the various things on my plate today because I'm already okay. I'm already safe. Versus I can only be safe and okay and happy if I've looked through my circumstances and there's not anything really threatening to me. And so I named this scope, I can look because I already see. So when we look at our day and we look at our challenges, we already want to see that you're already safe, you're already okay, you're already approved of, you're never separated from His love. Very subtle, but this is a behavior change. This is a coaching change. Gosh, there's a contractor out there who needs my help. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Let me just type this. They were on the counter laying there. I didn't move them. They came in a package and they were right there by the coffee maker. That's all I know. Okay? So anyway, this is a behavior change. This is a coaching change. This is an awareness change. And so you want to be aware. If you're asking the world to give you permission to be okay, you're never going to get it, because you can tick all the boxes and go, oh, whew, not mad. Oh, whew, I met that deadline. Whew, I met that expectation. Whew, I dealt with this crisis. Whew, I got a prophetic word over this. And oh my gosh, look what's happening in Washington, D.C. Maybe Hank Kuhneman can calm me down, or whatever it is. If you're looking for permission by checking all the boxes that things have been dealt with, you're never going to get it, because circumstances will not give us permission to be safe and peaceful. We have to get the peaceful memo and the revelation memo and the training memo and the choice memo of, I'm already safe. I'm already solid, whether I feel like it or not. That's the truth. That's what's going to change in me. That's where I'm living out of. Therefore, I can check to see, how are things going? Therefore, I can check on some stuff. And when I step into risk, which I did today, when I checked, I still felt some risk, because I have to risk, right? Don't we have to risk in order to be fear-free? We have to do something scary. But I made a mental change about how much power that sense of risk was going to have over my day. And I think that's reasonable. I think you can say, I feel the thing in the pit of my stomach. I might even be feeling the enemy doesn't want me to do it. I might have some thoughts that could actually turn out to be true, right? But I've already decided by faith and in my confession and in my perspective that I'm already there. I'm safe. I've got everything I need. God's with me. There's not anything that can happen that we aren't going to overcome. And so I'm looking at the circumstances and what might need addressing, because I already see that I'm safe. Okay? And that is one of those just subtle coaching life training, because we all are, bodies, as you know, are supposed to keep us safe, so they're constantly assessing threat. But we tend to buy into that as if we need circumstances to give us permission to be okay. And they won't. So it's not a good thing to do. Are you with me? Right? I'm working on it. And for me, it's very subtle. But it can add a little Johnny Rain cloud into a morning if you're like, yeah, and at 11 I got to make that call, and ooh, that text sounds kind of negative, and I better, But, so, I think as people who are committed to this journey of the learning the life skill of living fear-free, we have to already make the choice because I'm safe. Because I see that I am safe, because I see from heaven, I'm learning to see from heaven, because I'm already secured there. I can't be separate because I see the truth. I can look, okay? Not I look to see if I'm okay. That's where I've lived for so many years. I look to see if I'm okay. No, I see with heaven's eyes more and more and more, so I can look and check and make some decisions. That's my thought for today. Go with it. Make sure that whatever you're looking at around you, this is the whole, thing Moses at the Red Sea, look and see the salvation of the Lord. Some people are like, look and see, there's the Red Sea, we're going to get killed, right? I'm looking to see if we're going to be okay. There's the Red Sea. And he's going, no, see the salvation of the Lord, and then look at what you got to do, right, is essentially what's happening. And we are in that Passover season, aren't we? Right. So hang on, and hang on, little tomatoes. Stick with it. Small things are huge things in this life. And you didn't get here overnight. You didn't learn to be this screwed up and this afraid and this whatever you were before you picked your new identity in Christ and stuck with it, received it. So can you give yourself some grace to learn some new things? I mean, what else are you going to do? I got nothing better to do for the next 50 years of my life than look more accomplished and get more healed and older and touch more people. So we're still trying to work stuff out with our big broadcasters. Bye-bye. I think I'm going to assume that Lisa Perna is going to give us Zoom links. So tomorrow morning at 8, we can have a little free-for-all on her show. And I'm going to assume that Greg Harvey, who definitely wants to have some broadcasters on his show for a celebration Tuesday night at 9 Eastern, I'm going to assume that he can give us some tech that'll get us at least part way toward that goal. And then we're gonna stay in touch, right? I'm on Cloud Hub, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and I have a number of your contact information personally. We will rebuild. We're resilient. We're a resilient tribe of people, and so stay in touch. And hopefully, on Lisa's scope tomorrow and on Greg's, we'll have some even niftier ideas about how we can stay in touch as a community. Some people are doing haps, and DLive's weird. I mean, they don't have your old broadcasts on there. And I'm pretty sure we're all going to wind up on Cloud Hub. That's going to be the place to be over time. And of course, if there's a new platform that POTUS puts out, I'll see you there for sure. All right, you guys, go do something that scares you, because you already know. You already see that you're positioned in safety, unconditional love, and victory. All right?